Welcome to Recipe Club, the show where we cook your recipes and then test them under all sorts of wild and wacky conditions. This is the show where you're gonna find out if we can make a pot roast out of pot, a roast beef out of chicken, a vegan pasta out of tin cans. That's Recipe Club. This episode, we are messing around with tinned fish. Now, if you're somebody out there who gets the heebie-jeebies around sardines and anchovies, or you're scared of fish in general, I think we might have a recipe this week that'll change your mind. We got a lot of submissions from you, our audience, including one for spaghetti with sardines, which in my mind is the best way to convince somebody who's scared of an ingredient to eat it. Hide it in a bunch of pasta. It works with my kids, it might work with you. And if you're already a sardine fan, this recipe has a lot of promise, all sorts of umami and texture and salty deliciousness going on. We are gonna cook the original recipe right now, and then we are gonna see if we can make it keto-friendly, vegan-friendly, and using only shelf-stable pantry ingredients. But first, here's the original. So to make this spaghetti with sardines and cherry tomatoes, you're going to start with the painstaking task of halving 20 to 25 cherry tomatoes, mincing a quarter cup of shallots, and de-stemming a few stems of tarragon. Once you got all that done, you're going to boil some water for your pasta and heat a skillet or wok over medium-high heat. Once that's hot, add a glug of olive oil, then toss in 2 smashed cloves of garlic, those tarragon stems, which you definitely saved from earlier, and 2 anchovy fillets. You can use more anchovies than that if you feel like it. I don't know why I was being so discerning. Let all of that mingle and melt together a little bit, then add the minced shallot. Sweat, 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 sweat. Then in go the tomatoes along with a pinch of crushed red pepper that I definitely forgot to add. Season with salt to help those tomatoes give up their juice. And you know what? A splash of white wine would have been really nice here too, but I totally forgot that as well. While your sauce is cooking, toss the pasta in at this point. I added more than my little pot could handle, so I had to remove some. Don't ask me where that went. If you time this all correctly, the sauce should be ready just as that pasta is al dente, or more than al dente if you're me. Fish out the tarragon stem and add the pasta to the sauce along with a heaping tablespoon of capers and the contents of 1 can of sardines, including those delightful juices. Why not add those? Finish this all with some torn up tarragon, then try to do this cool twirly plating technique, fail, and end up just dumping all of the pasta into the bowl. Well, this is spaghetti with sardines and tarragon. This is not a combination I've ever experienced, and we'll see how it goes. It's an abomination. My Nona, God rest her soul. No, I'm sorry. It's not an abomination. It is, I mean, what's not to like? It's literally 8 different types of umami. If you're scared of fishiness, it's not fishy. It's delicious. The tarragon is super interesting, actually. I've never had tarragon with pasta and tomato and fish like that. It's not as crazy as I thought it would be. Actually, it totally works. It's delicious. It's just umami in a bowl. That was the original. We have a great starting place to mess around. Can we maintain the quality of this dish when it becomes vegan, which I'm gonna find out, keto, which Dave Chang is gonna try to create, and can you keep this fresh deliciousness using only ingredients that you find in your pantry, old herbs and shelf-stable stuff? Rachel Khong will be checking that out. So let's take a look at the variations. Rachel, this is not your time to try to become a cat influencer.
We're doing spaghetti with sardines and cherry tomatoes, pantry style. So I was kind of annoyed that I got pantry for the second time, and the first spin that I ever did was budget. So I went to the store and I got really nice things. I got this nice bucatini. I got these crushed dry farm tomatoes.
Rachel just decided that to take it upon herself to break the Recipe Club budget with these luxury purchases.
This was like $10. I got these sardines.
How much are these hipster sardines? $80? $200?
I think these were like $8. Some anchovies, super cute.
Yeah, super expensive and super cute.
Garlic powder, mint, chili, onion powder, dried tarragon. Let's make some pasta. Anchovies in a pan. I actually just ate one, it's so good.
We need to send Rachel a new pan. This pan has outlived its expected age.
Onion powder and garlic powder, dissolved anchovies. Okay, there's dried mint and dried tarragon and Aleppo chili pepper, and I'm just gonna let that reduce. This herb combo is actually really delicious. Pasta going in.
Look at this pro boiling gigantic spaghetti in a donabe with chopsticks. This is, Rachel, I applaud you, and simultaneously, you need a bigger pot. I feel like we need an Oprah moment where we're just gonna outfit Rachel with a whole new set of cookware.
I'm gonna put these in next.
She's just so gingerly smashing that fish in there. It looks like she's mixing together cat food.
Oh my God.
Okay, so Rachel Khong elected to take the pantry-only requirement we assigned her and exploit a loophole in our video here and just spend an incredible amount of money on pantry shelf-stable ingredients. So she made a luxury version of an apocalyptic spaghetti. It looked very delicious. Up next, Dave Chang is gonna try to make a keto-friendly version of this pasta, which poses a little problem because spaghetti, not so keto-friendly. Oh, Dave is going for the keto style version of this, and I can see right away he went zoodles. Oh, it's not just zucchini. He's got some yellow squash in there too for a little bit of variety. I'm very curious how this is gonna turn out. I'm not a zoodle guy, but you know, Dave has made me a believer in other ways. So let's see if he can convert me to a zoodle man. So other than the pasta itself, I think everything else in this recipe is pretty keto friendly. So it looks like he's breaking into the tomatoes. Thanks for hiding all those tomatoes behind that privacy towel there, Dave. Did you all just see what he just did? Very few people appreciate what Dave Chang just did. He just took off the entire bottom part of this package of enoki mushrooms by slicing through the plastic packaging. That in itself is worthy of special commendation. So it looks like Dave is opting to go for basil instead of tarragon, which I totally understand. Tarragon is sort of an unusual pick for this recipe, but also not exactly Dave's favorite herb. So the mushrooms and zucchini go straight into a pan with some oil. No need to blanch these things into oblivion. In a separate pan, he's got oil, and in go the tinned fish and all of their delicious liqueur. what better to accompany tinned fish than a little squirt of fish sauce? And there it is. I think he ended up just sort of topping the zoodles and mushrooms with the condiment, but looks pretty good. This is a man resigned to his fate as having to eat healthy food for the rest of his life. But what's he think? How did you do?
It's pretty good. Like, if I was on a keto diet, the fact is, this is something I need to be eating all the time.
That was Dave with his zucchini, squash, and enoki mushroom keto-friendly version of the spaghetti with sardines. Looks like he enjoyed himself, sort of. Just a very, very healthy, kind of sad mukbang. Our last variation on this recipe for spaghetti with sardines and tomatoes is going to be yours truly trying to make this a vegan dish. So the problem obviously is going to be tinned fish used to be fish, which used to be alive, which is a problem for vegetarians and vegans generally. So let me see if I can do this. Hey everybody, it's Chris Ying here. I'm about to make this spaghetti with sardines and cherry tomatoes, except I'm gonna try to make it vegan, which obviously poses some very specific problems given that sardines, one of the main ingredients, are made of animals, specifically sardines. All right, so first things first, there's obviously no sardines here or anchovies, but I have everything else. And I've added some garbanzo beans that I'm gonna try to mess around with, and these vegan crackers that I have some plans for, and this seaweed, which hopefully will stand in for the lack of any marine taste in my sardine spaghetti. Okay, so the chickpeas here are a very not obvious stand-in for anchovies because I wanted that little bit of protein, the little meatiness you would get from the anchovies and the sardines. So I wanted that little bit of contrast, a little bit more body. So I'm frying these up so that they can be like little crispy, chewy bits nestled throughout the pasta. So first I'm gonna just see what happens if I fry these little garbanzo chickpeas. I have this vision in my head that this will work. They're crisp, like turn into crunchy roll. Nuts. I like to do a bucatini because I felt like if you're vegan, sources of joy are further and few and far between. So why not choose the more fun pasta shape? And what's more fun than bucatini? Kind of just, you can't see anything. They're kind of disintegrating into the sauce, into the oil as sardine oil. We're missing all kinds of fat for this dish, so I'm super heavy on the olive oil. Garlic, shallot. Ooh, why don't you guys tell me this thing was boiling over? I don't think I've added anything not vegan yet. The salt. Oh, the salt was harvested from cow sweat, though. Good joke, Chris. Great joke. And then a bunch of cherry tomatoes, which I think are going to burst all over, so I'm going to put a lid on this. Whenever I do this, I kind of like to frick a bunch of them, just so that they help them along a little bit. Help for a little wine. A little Pinot Grigio. Oh, shit. Capers. What did I put in my mouth? Who do I think I am? My thinking right now is this is very salty. Not very salty. It's perfectly salty. This is salted. If I add a ton of pasta water to this, it's gonna get over seasoned. I'm gonna put the garbanzos back in, and I'm just gonna go pasta straight in here. Instead of tossing a bunch of fresh herb in there, I'm gonna go a bunch of seaweed. Put a little more seaweed on. Vegan, no sardines, sardine bucatini. Try it. That's really good. Super umami, even without the sardines or anchovies in it. Little nuggets of chickpea are really, really tasty. I would add maybe twice as many as I did this time. I had this other idea. I was talking to Chang about it a little bit, and we both came up with this idea to, instead of having canned sardines, we would replace them with goldfish crackers. As always, it didn't occur to either one of us that goldfish crackers are not vegan. I was really sad to let go of that plan because I thought like a crumble of goldfish on top was going to be really awesome. I found not the next best thing, but like the 35th next best thing, these vegan cheddar puffs. The recipe says that breadcrumbs on top would be good. Let's see what some crackers on top look like. We got these crackers. What's life without a little fun? I have almost no bearing whatsoever. That didn't work at all. Anyway, vegan, no sardine spaghetti with seaweed and chickpeas. Very good. Very, very tasty. I'm gonna keep eating it. There you have it. That was spaghetti and sardines. If you were somebody who started this being a little bit timid about tin fish, or you've seen all this cool tin fish content on TikTok and you're trying to get in the game.
When I embarked on my tin fish journey,
tin fish date night.
What's the difference between $1 and $25 canned sardines?
Well, this is a good place to start. This recipe held up to being turned into a keto version by Dave Chang, a pantry-only shelf-stable version by Rachel Khong, and of course what you just saw, the vegan, no sardine spaghetti that I made. So if you want more details on how all of these recipes came together, you can check out the Recipe Club podcast on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. In the meantime, if you could like and subscribe this video, that sure would help us keep making them. In any case, we will continue to crank here in the kitchen, and we will talk to you all very soon.